Housework and childcare are not just for women. When you get married in the future, make sure you help your wife. These words have been told to me by my father since I was little. As I grew up, I took these words to heart and supported my wife. Little did I know that it would lead to such an unexpected turn. My name is Michael. Although I'm a man, I don't work and instead dedicate my time to housework and childcare at home. You could say I'm what's known as a stay-at-home dad. In exchange, my wife, Lisa, is a career woman who excels at her job. I grew up in a household where both of my parents worked. However, a few years after I was born, my mom's job became more demanding. Additionally, her workplace was over an hour away from our home. She couldn't find a time to do housework and childcare as she used to. So, after discussing it, my parents decided that my dad would take on the primary role in housework and childcare. Since my dad had a shorter commute and his job wasn't as demanding, he had more time to spare for housework and taking care of us. By the time I was aware of it, it had become normal in our household for my dad to handle the housework and childcare. When I got home in the evenings, I would find my dad cooking dinner in the kitchen. This was a usual scene in our home. Being an everyday cook, my dad was good at it and made delicious meals. He would make a variety of dishes, from pasta to beef stew, and many more. On weekends, my dad would take me to the park to play together. He was also the one who attended school events. I remember standing out at my first school open house in elementary school because my dad was the only father there. At that time, when another child asked, "Why isn't your mom here?" I realized that my family was a bit different from others. After the open house, I asked my dad why, and he explained the situation to me. "Your mom couldn't come because of work, but she cares about you a lot, whether it's a man or a woman. It doesn't matter who does the housework and childcare. When you get married in the future, make sure you help your wife," he said with a smile. As a child, I felt that even though my family was different, I was perfectly happy with how things were. I never wished to change or dislike my family. Although my mom was always busy, she would take us to amusement parks or zoos on her rare days off. I could clearly feel my mom's love for me. As I got older, I was asked to help with the housework. In today's world, it's good for men to know how to do housework. Knowing how to do household chores will never be a disadvantage in the future. When I was told that, I thought becoming independent was still a long way off, and it seemed like a hassle. Back then, playing with friends was definitely more fun. But I had to do it because my dad developed back pain. Once I started doing it, I realized how hard housework was. There were endless tasks like laundry and cleaning. I realized that each task had its own set of procedures that I needed to remember. Moreover, I noticed that it required quite a bit of physical effort. I was in charge of cleaning and laundry, and I found cleaning to be particularly tiring. The idea that indoor tasks would be easy was quickly dispelled. For the first week of helping out, I was overwhelmed just by completing the tasks assigned to me. It amazed me that my dad had been doing this heavy labor every day. To be honest, housework was nothing but a pain for me at that time. I just wanted to finish quickly and go out to play. That was when I realized. I've never heard Dad complain about housework being hard. Maybe it's not tough for him, I wondered. When I actually asked my dad, he shook his head and said, "Yes, housework is hard for me too. When I first started, I wasn't good at it and often burned the food. It ended up making your mom worry more." "So why did you keep doing it?" "Because I wanted to support Mom. She works really hard at her company. Naturally, she's exhausted when she comes home. I wanted to help her out even just a little. If I do the housework, it reduces Mom's burden. You like Mom, don't you, Michael? If you try hard, it will make Mom happy." "Got it. I'll try to do it with that mindset. From then on, I changed my attitude and started doing housework more diligently. Even the toilet cleaning, which I disliked the most, I tried to do as carefully as possible. Then, I realized that I felt a sense of accomplishment when I finished. Looking at the clean toilet made me feel refreshed. Doing housework properly feels good, I thought. Thus, while it was tough, I started to find joy in doing housework and became more proactive in helping out. My dad thanked me, saying, "It really helps that you have been helping out more lately." It seems like Mom also heard about my efforts from Dad. "You helping out shows how much you've grown. Thank you." I was very happy when I was told this. I became even more motivated to do housework, especially cooking, which I got really into. Dad always did the cooking because it involved using knives and fire, and it was considered difficult. But I wanted to make Mom happy by cooking for her birthday, so I asked Dad for help. Dad agreed to help if it was for that reason. The dish I made was spaghetti. It's Mom's favorite and easy for beginners to make. My only experience with a knife was a little bit in home economics class, so Dad had to teach me everything step by step. Cutting the vegetables was hard, but I managed to finish it without any major mistakes. As I plated the dish and waited for Mom to come home, she arrived shortly after. "Happy birthday." I greeted her with celebratory words, and she was very happy. "Today's meal is your favorite spaghetti. Guess who made it?" When Dad asked, Mom looked surprised. "Could it be Michael made it?" "That's right. It's my birthday present to you." When I said that, not only was Mom surprised, but she also had tears in her eyes. "I can't believe it. You used to just play around. This is truly the best birthday present." Receiving such high praise from Mom made me very happy. I'm so glad she's happy. I want to improve my cooking skills and make Mom and Dad happy, I thought. This experience led me to start helping out with cooking. At first, I made relatively simple dishes, but gradually I started making more elaborate meals. By the time I was in middle school, I could handle making dinner on my own. By then, I had also come to love cooking itself. I not only modified recipes Dad taught me but also created original dishes. Gradually, I became interested in a career related to food, and when I started job hunting in college, I focused on food companies. Fortunately, I got a job at a major food company. Even after joining the company, my love for cooking remained. I made my own lunch every morning and ate it during lunch break. One day, while eating at the office, my colleague Lisa asked me about it. "Hey, who made that lunch for you?" "Oh, I made it myself." "Really? It's so elaborate and has so many different things. I thought maybe your mom made it for you." "I live alone, so it's not my mom," I said with a laugh, and Lisa responded, "That's amazing. I'm not that good at cooking, so I'm a bit jealous. Do you want me to teach you? It's quite easy once you get the hang of it." I sent some recipes I had saved on my phone to Lisa's phone. "Thank you. I'll try making it right away." Lisa said that and left with a happy look. The next day, when I approached Lisa while she was eating her lunch, I noticed a slightly burnt hamburger in her lunchbox. "Oh, don't look at this." Lisa quickly hid her lunchbox when she saw me. Sorry. I followed the recipe you gave me, but I ended up burning it. The taste is also bland. Can I watch you cook next time? I want to get a little better at cooking." Sure." I was surprised by the sudden request but had no reason to refuse, so I agreed. On our next day off, I invited Lisa to my house and taught her how to make hamburgers. Lisa wasn't very skilled, but she listened to my instructions carefully, and we successfully made the hamburgers. The seasoning was perfect too. This became the start of Lisa and me cooking together on our days off. With each session, I was drawn to Lisa's lively and cheerful personality. On her birthday, I made a surprise cake and confessed my feelings. "I like your kind personality too, Michael." Lisa accepted, and we officially became a couple. A year later, we get married and were blessed with a daughter. We named her Sophie. Taking this as an opportunity, I decided to quit my job and dedicate myself to housework and childcare. Lisa loved her job and wanted to focus on it. She was a capable woman on the fast track to promotion. On the other hand, I was better at housework than Lisa and also loved children, so it was a natural choice. Both our parents agreed, saying such families are acceptable in today's times. Especially my dad, who supported me. "Michael, you'll be a great father. Call me anytime you need help," he said. Thus, I became a stay-at-home dad, taking on all the housework and childcare responsibilities. Focusing on our strengths, our household was running smoothly. However, there was one problem at Lisa's workplace. It was her boss, Robert. He believed in traditional gender roles, thinking men should work outside and women should take care of the home. Even when I quit my job, though he was from another department, he went out of his way to say, "It's crazy for a man not to work," after hearing rumors. Now, Robert had transferred to Lisa's department. Knowing about our family situation, he would often hurl insults at Lisa. Despite assigning her overtime work, he'd say things like, "Women should go home early and do housework." He didn't seem to think highly of working women in general, often making snide remarks to female employees. That man really makes me angry. Lisa would often complain about Robert when she came home. According to her, the worst was during drinking parties. Robert, when drunk, would start saying, "Women aren't suited for work. It's best for them to get married and stay at home." It was incredibly annoying, but no one could call him out due to his position as a department head, forcing them to endure his endless rants. Apparently, some female employees had even quit because of him. Lisa seemed to be managing, but it was clear she was under a lot of stress. I wish we could do something about him. The person who said it probably doesn't even remember, so it's a waste of time to take him seriously. Just ignore it and wait for the next personnel transfer to send him somewhere else, I suggested. Listening to Lisa's complaints and helping her relieve stress had become part of my daily routine. One morning, as usual, I was preparing Lisa's lunch to take to her company. According to Lisa, her colleagues thought she made the lunch herself. It wasn't that she said anything in particular. It just naturally led to a misunderstanding. I could imagine Robert making snide comments again if it came out that I was the one making it. And I didn't particularly want her coworkers to know I was the one preparing it, so I left it as is. The lunch was successfully prepared that day as well. But a small incident occurred. Sophie started a commotion after spilling her milk during breakfast. It seemed some of the milk got on her clothes as well. While I was dealing with this, it was time for Lisa to leave for work. I hurriedly sent her off, cleaned up the spilled milk, and changed Sophie's clothes, then returned to the kitchen. That's when I noticed Lisa's lunchbox sitting there alone. Oh no, I forgot to give it to her in all the rush. I called Lisa's phone. "I forgot your lunch, so I'm going to bring it to you now." "Ah, that's right. I'll wait in front of the company then. If I go to the office, Robert might see me." Understood. It was about time to drop Sophie off at daycare, so I could stop by the company afterward. I put Sophie in the lunchbox in the car and headed to the daycare. Then, I drove to Lisa's company. Upon arrival, Lisa was waiting in front of the company. I parked the car and handed her the lunchbox. "Sorry I forgot to give it to you when we left the house." "It's okay. You always make it for me, so no worries." With that, the trouble was resolved. Just when I breathed a sigh of relief, a figure suddenly appeared behind Lisa. I was startled to see who it was. It was Robert. He was holding a bag, seemingly about to go out. As soon as he saw me, Robert frowned. Well, if it isn't Lisa's husband. What are you doing here? I've run into someone unpleasant. I thought to myself, but decided to respond as neutrally as possible. Actually, my wife forgot her lunch, so I came to deliver it. Is that so? By the way, I overheard your conversation. Are you the one making lunch every day? Yes, that's right. I'm probably going to get a few snide remarks now, I thought. As expected, Robert started ranting, snorting disdainfully. Are you a full-time house husband? A man not working and just staying at home is a burden to society. Making lunch is supposed to be a woman's job. It's disgraceful for a man not to work and just do household chores. You have a child, don't you? Can a child grow up properly in such a household? He went on and on as if he had been waiting for this moment. What's wrong with a man doing housework? It's not causing any trouble at the company, I thought. I was furious but thought it was not wise to argue back here. Making a scene could negatively affect my wife's position at her company. I was about to deflect a comment lightly when Lisa shouted. Enough is enough, Lisa exclaimed loudly. I was surprised by my usually calm wife's outburst. Housework, including child-rearing and cooking, is a respectable job. We have discussed and agreed upon this division of labor in our household. Please don't meddle in our family's decisions. Besides, my husband being a stay-at-home dad doesn't inconvenience you, Robert. So please leave us alone, Lisa said firmly. Robert, taken aback by her assertiveness, mumbled something and walked away. Lisa calmed down and apologized. Sorry for raising my voice. I was just so angry. No, it's fine. If anything, I'm grateful. Thank you. I was genuinely relieved Lisa had spoken up, but I worried about the repercussions of standing up to her boss. Unfortunately, my concerns came true. Since that incident, Lisa became a bigger target for Robert, facing an onslaught of daily harassment. About a month later, Lisa was visibly exhausted. Moreover, it became clear from the newly announced personnel changes that Robert would not be transferred. Why don't you quit the company? We have enough savings, and you can take your time to find a new job. Well, maybe I should. Lisa agreed. However, a significant change occurred shortly after. The company's president was suddenly replaced by a woman. The previous president had fallen ill and could no longer work, leading to this change. The new president, being a woman, implemented a series of reforms from a female perspective. She promoted paternity leave for men and supported female employees in returning to work after pregnancy and childbirth, spreading ideas completely opposite to Robert's. Robert was demoted after a meeting with President Johnson exposed his discriminatory beliefs and history of harassment. Lisa decided against quitting and continued working as before. The company has become so much more comfortable to work for, she said happily. In a few years, the company became popular among women for its positive reputation, and the number of female employees increased. We also started to gain attention as an exemplary couple. As proof, I was interviewed for the company newsletter, where I shared my views on housework and childcare. After the newsletter was published, I became known throughout the company group as a commendable stay-at-home dad. Furthermore, the reputation spread externally. Thankfully, I was approached by the media and started writing a column on childcare and housework in a magazine. Initially anxious, I managed with the editorial team's help. I hope my experiences can help others. My parents were delighted when I informed them. I'm so glad to see you've become a great father. My dad even called and said. Interestingly, There seemed to be a change in Robert too. When Lisa had to meet him for work, he apologized for his previous harassment. After being demoted, he explained the situation to his wife, who left him due to his arrogant attitude. Facing the challenges of housework alone made him realize its difficulty. After convincing his wife to return, he began helping with housework. When he asked me for housework advice, I couldn't believe what was happening. Lisa was amazed. In any case, it's great that things have improved. Our family might be a bit unconventional, but Lisa and I are doing what we love. I want to continue protecting this happy home.